Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the day it is for you. Welcome back to Wealth Reimagined. I'm your host, Maya Kay, and I'm so excited we have made it to week four. Week four, Financial Literacy Month. So grateful if you've stuck with me from episode one until now. But don't feel like this is the end. Don't feel like this is the end. This is honestly just the beginning. And I'm excited for this series. I hope it has been helpful so far and really just getting those foundational pieces and discussions out of the way. Super grateful that you are here and can be a part of this time and this space on the Family Bloodline Network. So let's I hope everybody's having a good day. I release these on Mondays, and Monday can be manic for real. Mondays can be a lot, especially if you had a great weekend like I did. I had a great weekend. Despite the storms, I am in an area that has been getting tornadoes all weekend. Over the last week, honestly, we've had tornadoes. Luckily, I have not been impacted personally, but definitely surrounding areas. One area in particular that's a bit south of me, honestly, I think they've been hit 3 times in the week, or impacted. I shouldn't say hit. That sounds like there's been a lot of destruction, but they have definitely been impacted for every storm that we've had. But despite the storms, had a great weekend. My oldest daughter had her senior prom on Saturday, and then the girl had the nerve to turn 18 on me Sunday. And so I have my first paper adult child because that girl does not know what she's about to walk into when it comes to being an adult. So I like to call her a paper adult. I don't call her that to her face. And I love you if you are watching. You are about to embark on something that is going to involve a lot of lessons and evolving, new vocabulary, new experiences, uncharted territory, so much. But I hope that between me and your dad, that the lessons will all make sense. The no's will make sense. Just all the things that have felt unfair will make sense. I hope it'll all just come full circle. So had a great weekend celebrating her. So anyway, let's just get into it. Again, I want to be respectful of people's time. I am hoping that you are able to tune in when you are commuting in the morning or getting ready, or maybe it's on your commute home, and just able to, get some little nuggets here and there on personal finance. So again, this is the 4-part series for Financial Literacy Month. And again, Financial Literacy Month is every April, annually, every year. It's just an awareness campaign, really, to really just have a time to discuss finances and management and budgeting and saving and investing and getting rid of debt, all of these things, protecting your money. That's really the purpose, is to help bring awareness to these things because they're very important and they have a major impact on everyday life, despite what people think. So that is what Financial Literacy Month is all about. And I'm glad that I can be here with you to go through that, as well as, personal finance. What is personal finance? Personal finance is you managing money in your household. How are you doing with that? Are you doing it? Or are you just flying by the seat of your pants? Do you actually have a budget that you implement so you know how and when and where your money is going to go? It's about that: budgeting, saving, investing, protecting. Those things, all very important, and again, can have some major impacts on our lives day to day. So, okay, so over the past few episodes, it's really important to me to really lay a foundation Not rushing right into the things that maybe you wanted to hear, which honestly are things that you're hearing everywhere. Do a budget, save, bring in more money, right? We all know that. Those are things everybody knows. And I think, so I started really getting an interest in teaching about personal finance from a different perspective. Now it's probably been over 10 years ago, honestly. And back then I was in the process of helping people understand credit because of my background in underwriting. And what really sparked it was people not understanding why they were denied for credit. They're like, hey, I looked on such and such website and it told me I have a 793 credit score. Why am I being declined? I shouldn't, Well, I would tell people then, well, your credit score is only one factor. Just because you have a 700 credit score doesn't mean you're getting approved. Just because you have an 800 credit score don't mean you're getting approved. And I know that's blowing some people's minds because the credit score is only one factor in a loan approval. It's not the only factor. There have been people with 800 credit scores getting declined for loans because they can't afford the loan. How is that possible? It is. It's possible because honestly, no matter how much money people are making out here, a high percentage of them are living paycheck to paycheck. You wouldn't believe some of the incomes people have. And let me tell you, because they make the money, they want to live a certain way. And live in a certain way without having other foundational things in place, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You can mess it up. You're blowing it all. You're strapped. How is it you're making $15,000 a month and you're struggling right now? Make that make sense to people who are not making that type of money. I'm looking at that like, if I was making $15,000 a month, there ain't no way. There ain't no way I would be struggling. Man, that would make things a lot easier. But that's because I would like to believe, and I honestly do, because of what I know now, I would live below my means. I would want a lot of that money to be going into something building wealth for me so I can leave a legacy. So all of that will make sense, I'm sure, down the road. But I say all that to say these foundational pieces are critical to your success. And I got into it because been in banking since 2004. Nope, that's wrong. 2002. Been in banking. And as somebody that knows all the things about bank accounts or know all the ways you can do things and how you should do things and building a budget and having access at my fingertips to investment tools, I knew all of that. But do you think I did any of it? No, I didn't. And that was the conviction for me. Man, I know exactly what to do. So how come I'm not doing any of it? That became the question. And that's when I started digging deeper into the mindset component of our finances. I can know all day what to do, just like you do. You can't tell me that you've never heard that, you know what, you should balance your checkbook. Ooh, what's a checkbook? You can't say that you've never heard anybody say you should reconcile your accounts every month or every time you get paid. You can't say you've never heard of a budget, even if you don't have one. You can't say you've never heard of an emergency fund, even if you don't have one. Or that you should have 3 to 6 months saved. All these things. You could Google it right now. You don't need to hear it from me. You can Google it right now and you know what you're supposed to do, but it's not getting done. And that was me. And I was embarrassed because of my profession. I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And how is this possible? And it's so possible. There's so many reasons why we have the relationship with money that we have, or the lack thereof relationship with money that we have. So that is what really got me interested in wanting to, not just for myself, figure it out. And as I was figuring out, I'm like, I guess I had an aha moment. And I'm like, I gotta share this with other people. I can help people. I'm thinking I can actually help people. I can help people. So I'm helping people understand their credit, and that spilled over into more, really, because okay, you got the credit component maybe that you understand, but how do I get to pay off these debts? Why can't I get out of the cycle? Why don't I have any money in the bank? Different things like that. So not rushing, not skipping steps. That's how you really build something. So to recap the journey we've taken for Financial Literacy Month, episode 1, I talked about getting organized. And some of y'all got 3 more days to do it. 3 more days to get organized. Why? Because clarity can't exist in chaos. You cannot be clear if you have no idea where your things are, what your password is, what your logon user name is. You can't get clear. And that's step number 1. Where are all my documents? Where are all my documents? Episode 2, we talked about taking inventory. Taking inventory was taking all the things that you gathered and, in your effort to get organized, or this is the next step for you if you committed to an April 30th deadline to get organized. And that was just being honest about what's coming in, what's going out, and where you really stand. Do I have assets? How much cash do I have? How much are in my 401k? How are my investments doing? How's my side hustle going? How's my business? How much am I bringing in? Am I in the red or am I in the black? It's just taking inventory again so that you are clear. You want to be clear. Because then once you're clear, you know what you need to do next. Episode 3, we talked about different types of budgets. And really, the takeaway about budgeting for me is understanding that its purpose is not to be restrictive, but it's a tool that, again, I share different types because I want you to discern a realistic approach that's going to fit your life, that's going to fit your comfort. Because one thing that you will have to have in personal finance is a budget. You have to know how to manage your household income. No questions asked. It's not negotiable. Because, hate to break it to you, if you can't manage your household income, you can't manage a business. You can't manage a business. You want to start a business? What's your personal finance and your household income looking like? It's the same thing, different line items. different names on the line items. It's the same thing. So the budget is not negotiable. When you put all that together, what you're really creating is an awareness and clarity that is now going to fuel your goals, your financial goals. Awareness is where financial change actually begins. And once you were doing inventory, I hope that you were starting to see a little bit there. I only have $12 in my account right now. Or maybe you're on the other end. I have too much cash in my account right now. So that's where the financial goal setting will begin. Okay. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Now that you have done these things, these 3 steps, now it's time to set realistic goals. Realistic goals. And some of these goals, just like the budget is non-negotiable, some of the goals are non-negotiable. Now, this is kind of a high level, right? Because what we haven't done yet together is really examine your situation. So you may have done a look at things and you realize I have more going out than I have going in. And that's never a comfortable place to be in, but that's the place a lot of people are in, especially once they start compiling these things and they've actually put it down on paper. The numbers don't lie. You can all day long tell yourself you got enough money because it looks like you have enough money because you made it work out somehow. But once you put it all down on paper, it hits different. The numbers don't lie. You have, for easy math, $2,000 coming in, but you have $2,500 going out. You're out of balance. You're upside down. So how do you make it up to where if you have $2,000 coming in, you have $2,000 going out? And if you are upside down, that might be a goal number 1. How do I fix this? Where can I cut expenses? How can I bring in another $500? But the goal there is that you need to at least break even. At minimum, you need to break even. And so if you're in an upside down situation, then I would encourage that to be goal number 1 for you. I need to cut my expenses. I don't have enough. I have too much going out than I have going in. Do I need to cancel some subscriptions? All Netflix and Peacock and all them doing are going up. What, every 90 days it seems? Are we even watching these streaming channels? Do I still need that subscription that I forget to skip at the beginning of the month and they charge me and I'm like, dang it, now I have to buy something? Would it save to buy in bulk? Can you cut your expenses on your grocery? Can you buddy with somebody and you all split the membership and share it? Maybe 2 family households do that and share it. And even, some things you get in bulk, it's like, I don't need this much of it. Then split it with someone. You take one of them, the other person take one. I mean, at some point, it's a matter of getting creative. Now, I'm not going to act like if this is where you are even feeling good right now. I'm aware. I've been there. I haven't been there where I wrote all this stuff down and I'm like, how am I even making it? I was one financial crisis away from disaster. All that it would take is for one thing to go wrong unexpected, and I would have had a crisis. I would have had a crisis on my hands because I honestly didn't know. Sometimes it's a matter of, do I need to shop for different insurance, cheaper insurance? I was with an insurance company over 20 years. But every time I would get the little policy thing in the mail, I'm like, I feel like it keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. How do I not have some type of loyalty, discount? I've been with y'all since I was in my 20s. Can y'all do something about this premium? Nope. Cool. I will go shop around. And I did, and I saved. And honestly, something like car insurance is something you might want to just take a peek at every year or two to see if you're paying too much. Can you cut there? But long story short on that, because again, I want to keep this at a reasonable time. Where do you need to start? What goal do you need to set? If that's not the boat you're in, maybe, oh, bless your heart, if you do, you got excess money. What am I going to do with this? Should I go buy another handbag? Should I go buy some more J's? What am I going to do with this extra money? I'm not saying you can't do those things for yourself. But what I would ask is, do you already have your emergency fund funded 100%? Are you close? Do you have an emergency fund? Maybe it's time to start one. And you can start with that excess money that you found. Do you even have enough? Because you got organized, right? And you already did your inventory. So you should know how much your deductible is if you have a car accident. Do you have a $500 deductible? Do you have a $1,000 deductible? Whatever your deductible is, do you have it? Do you even have enough to cover a deductible if something happens to your car? We've had storms go through here. The sun's finally out, thank goodness. Hail damage to your roof, hail damage to your car. Do you have money? Liquid, cash money, not a credit card. I didn't ask, do you have a credit limit on your card to cover it? Do you have the cash? That could be a goal. That could be somewhere to start. I hope you're catching what I'm putting down. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, as they say. But based off of everything that you have learned, everything that you see about your situation, I want you to now set some realistic goals. And when it comes to goal setting, you can use the SMART method. SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Specific. We'll use an example of, I don't have an emergency fund. Specific. I'm going to start can't just say an emergency fund. I'm going to start a starter $1,000 emergency fund. Why? Sometimes you got to prove to yourself you can do something. For some people, $1,000 is a lot. Show up for yourself. Show up for the goal you set for yourself. Stay focused on the goal you set for yourself, but it has to be specific. We're not done. I'm going to start a starter $1,000 emergency fund, and I will have it completed by you fill in the blank. That's how you do a specific goal. I'm going to start an emergency fund is not specific. I'm going to get out of debt is not specific. Also, break your goal down into a bite-sized chunk. $1,000, break it down. I'm going to make sure I have $250 in there by this date. And I'm going to have another $250 in there by this date. And so on and so forth, right? Break it down. Sometimes I think the goals that we set are so vast, they seem unattainable, but they really are. You just got to break it down. Bite-sized chunks, as they say. If you need to get some debt paid off, you might have wrote down some things with some credit cards. You may have a smaller credit card that maybe you owe $300 on. Knock that $300 out, right? But again, the idea here is really just to set some goals based off of, let me not say goals. The idea here is to set a goal based off of the steps that you've done this month that I hope brought some awareness, as the goal of Financial Literacy Month is set out to do, that it has brought some awareness around where you are today. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is where it actually all begins, with awareness. So you don't need to have everything figured out right now. If you've gotten this far, just getting things organized, a lot of people don't have all their stuff together. A lot of people don't know their net worth, whether it's positive or negative. You've done more than most people ever do. You've done what some of our elders say they wish they had done sooner. So hold your head up, pat yourself on the back. You have taken a big step. You've taken an important step in your financial journey and reimagining what wealth can look like. It may seem far off now, but this is the starting point. And I wouldn't be surprised if these are things that no one's ever told you when they talked about setting yourself up for success financially. You also want to set a date that you do this regularly. Think about that. Just set a time each week that you can check in with your finances and what you've done. Because, I would be lying to you if I said once you do the budget, it's going to always work out every time. It's not. The difference is when things come up that are unexpected, at least you know what you have and what you don't have. And that can help you in your decision making going forward. So the budget is your spending plan. You have multiple line items. Something comes up unexpected. You don't have your emergency fund in place yet to handle that unexpected emergency. Depending on your goals, you're not going to put this emergency on a credit card. You may have to make some adjustments elsewhere to come up with the difference, because you only have so much money coming in. And what people end up doing is, instead of making maybe those adjustments within what they have to work with, instead they start creating debt. And most people, when they charge something on a credit card, they do not have the ability to pay it off the next month in full, because that's how you're supposed to use a credit card. Hate to break it to you again. Your credit card should be paid in full monthly. That's how you're supposed to use it. But they knew they knew that if they gave you a minimum payment, that you would pay that minimum payment and you would be paying that balance 30 times over. They make so much money off of people who do not pay it off in full. So that budget is created so you at least know how to make the best next decision for what's happened. So this last episode was really more just a recap of the month and really wanting you to step away thinking of a goal to set based off of what clarity you have gotten April 2026, right? But again, this is just the beginning. This is not going to fix everything, right? But it is definitely a start. And we're going to dive deeper into that emergency fund I keep bringing up because it is also a non-negotiable for your success. Your financial success requires a budget and a full funded emergency fund. Non-negotiable. We will in the future also talk about credit. And I hope I can help you understand the purpose of it, how it works, why your credit score going up and down day to day or month to month. And just creating some financial stability. That financial stability will change so much. It changes so much, not just your bank account. It changes your confidence. It changes your mindset. It changes what you can do and can't do. Do you know how debilitating debt is? Have you ever thought about what you can't do because of how much money you are sending out each month to some creditor that you owe because you are in debt? And so I hope this is a stepping stone into the right direction. So, in closing, I just want you to remember, you don't need to be perfect with money. We're going to always have things come up. That's why I just said, don't be fooled that just because you have the budget, that every month it's going to work out exactly as you wrote it down. You don't have to be perfect. Things are going to come up. It's inevitable. You have to prepare for those things, not if they happen, but when. So you don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be clear. And that clarity comes from knowing your situation. That clarity helps you make a better decision. That clarity is going to be the driving factor in your success or your failure when it comes to your finances. Thank you for joining. Again, I'm Maya Kay, the People's Money Coach here on the Family Bloodline Network, and I hope you join me again in the future. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And also, please send me questions, topics that maybe you want to discuss. If they align with the goal of this podcast, more than happy to dive deeper into them. So stay tuned. Continue to join me as we dive into that emergency fund I keep talking about. We're going to talk about understanding credit better and just helping you stay on top of that budget and achieving your goals of getting out of debt. Because again, debt can be so hindering of what it is you want to do. You don't want to miss out on opportunities just because you're not ready. They say stay ready so you don't have to get ready. It happens to me all the time. I'm like, ooh, I wish I could get that. I wish I could do that. I wish I could make that investment. And sometimes I just don't have it. So for other things, I am ready. But then there's some larger things because I was late to the party, right? That I can't do yet. But I don't let it discourage me. I let it motivate me. Because I'm like, well, next time an opportunity like that comes around, I'm going to be ready. And I'm going to be able to go ahead and make the purchase, make the investment. I gave an example on a prior episode about just even buying points for flying when they have their sale. I was like, oh, I'm going to be ready next time. There's no reason I should be missing out on this discount for these points. And so it's things like that that I hope you take away that will motivate you as well. So thank you again for joining, and enjoy the rest of your